a little bit. How we doing?
Julian, it's not your side of the expertise, but when they're running the ball on offense the way they will, what kind of tone does that set for the whole team?
It's a tone of, a validation that our work's going to something. The offense, I mean, all of us on defense are talking on the sidelines excited about kind of the flow that we had on offense today. When you're able to stay kind of on cadence, on timing, ahead of the sticks, it is awesome. And I don't know the final numbers of the time of possession and all that stuff, but, I mean, we see what it can be. And now, obviously, it's week 2 of preseason. We just got to go rip it this season.
You're a 7th-year vet. You're a starter. You don't necessarily need the preseason, but what does it say about you and the way you play the game that you're 4th down, hitting a 230-pound fullback in the hole?
I don't know. I find value in the preseason. Maybe not playing a ton of snaps, but I don't know. I feel like I just want to hit, the week 1 of the regular season with just hit the ground running. I need to get a few tackles, under my belt. Cadence, we have some new bodies out there. I want them to understand how I communicate, how I operate on game day. And yeah, game day is just, it's a different speed than practice. As much as you can try to simulate the game, people just, you learn something new about somebody when they're out there on the field on game days. And so I like playing a little bit in preseason.
Julian, maybe it's too simple, but it seems like that's the formula that you guys want to have. If you could script a game, that's the way it would go. To see that kind of in a dress rehearsal type situation for you guys kind of play out that way, how encouraging is that for you guys?
It's really encouraging. I mean, it was, I don't think you could script it better on offense in terms of the flow of how we want to play. We want to be able to run the ball, obviously work, play action, all that stuff off of it, make throws when we need to make the throws, but just keep the ball, keep the clock running. And then defensively, we didn't, that first group out there wasn't super clean. There's obviously areas to improve on, especially those 3rd downs, but it goes to show that defense needs to stay ready when our offense is moving and grooving because they can hold the ball for, a big clip at a time. Dang, was that the bass and the speakers? Oh, man, all right.
Would you say this team overall, in particular on defense, has grown from year 1 to year 2 under Mike Macdonald?
I think, because we have so many people back and the staff is pretty much intact, it's, we're tackling the details of everything instead of kind of the big picture. What are we doing? That's been kind of the story of camp. Just, the footwork, the cadence, the details of everything, as opposed to just throwing out an install and learning it all from the jump. And so it allowed us to just be completely ahead of the pace. And now we're chasing that. We're chasing the edge. We're chasing perfection as much as you can't obtain it. That's kind of what we're trying to make the standard on defense.
You guys talk about the standard that you're trying to set. Mm-hmm. The first series, KC was converting on some of those third downs.
Yeah.
What did you see that maybe wasn't up to your standard on that first series?
Just urgency and communicating with each other. For the most part, when we were assignment sound, just like the timing of everything. When motions and shifts are happening, lumen's loud. We have to be on better timing and just understand how each other operates, and also who we're communicating with, because we change every shift, motion, play, formation, all that stuff, and so there's a lot to it. And so it's important to get those reps in front of our crowd because that's when we're rocking in there, that's when we have to be at our best on defense.
They finished 9 first downs, 157 yards. What does that tell you about your defensive depth and the way those guys are playing?
I mean, that's what I was most excited about today. Those guys were balling. I feel like they're very little explosives. The DBs were tackling well today. The D-line, those young boys up there are just getting it. Across the board, it was just exciting to see. And then you see the guys just making the name for themselves just across the team. You see some of those young running backs that come to mind, just running hard no matter when their time's called. Seeing the Mill ticket out there, Milrow getting active. It's exciting to see, not just the depth of our defense, just the team. It's exciting to see the guys kind of get that first preseason game up off them.
What's something that caught your eye tonight?
Something that caught my eye tonight? Jake Bobo. I mean, we joke around with Bobo so much, but him catching that screen pass for the touchdown was exciting. Obviously, the fade ball that's Bobo 101, but you see him back there catching punts. We saw that. That's when the sideline probably went the most nuts. They're like, what is he doing back there? We must be out of returners. And so that I would say he stood out. But he's a guy who's mature and is ready for any moment that's called for him. Defensively, I thought Waxter did a great job. I thought young Pepe You guys know who Pepe is? What's Halima's first name? Demarion Williams? Demarion Williams. He did a great job. 37 on defense. And so, yeah, just to name a few names.
What I noticed that Spoon
Yeah.
talks a lot on defense. I don't know how much Bobo talks on offense. What's he like in practice?
You know, that's funny that you mentioned those two guys. Spoon specifically talks a certain way to Bobo out there, and Bobo's starting to get, you know, a little chippy back with him because Spoon, you know, is very unfiltered. If he catches you feeling a certain way, then he'll just keep it going. And then so Bobo and him, they have a lot of words to each other out of love, of course. But yeah, those two in practice, they have a certain chip on their shoulder, and so I mean, Bobo. Spoon was the first one to dap him up after all of his plays in the game today.
Really gets the sack in the end zone.
Yeah.
The whole sideline of Rush. What did you say about your team and the closeness?
I think the big healthy. That's what we call Pili, the big healthy. Do play with passion. You know, plays with fire. It's in practice. If you're out there, you hear him yelling, hear him getting after it, and it's it's exciting because especially that defensive line room, you got some cagey vets in that room, some guys who obviously have accomplished a lot in this league. And so to see young guys kind of stepping up and playing with a certain chip on his shoulder is exciting, especially for that room.
The big healthy?
The big healthy, yeah. He's been available and healthy, and it stuck. It started last year. It was a certain nickname last year. Well, I don't want to repeat that nickname, and so it changed to the big healthy. I appreciate you guys.
Thanks.